Before we jump in, I want to introduce you to Albert. He's the first AI agency advisor that I've personally trained. After looking at thousands and thousands of agencies over the years, I've mapped out 6 clear stages of growth, and Albert uses this to help you figure out which stage you're in, what's holding you back, and what you need to change next. All you have to do is answer 7 quick questions. It takes you less than 3 minutes, and you can check it out at agencymastery.ai if you want more freedom, more profit, and a smarter path to growth. So go to agencymastery.ai. All right, let's go get in today's episode.
Hey, Scott, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jason. Been a long time. I think I've known you 8 years.
Yeah, from digital marketer days.
Those were fun days, man. I still miss those events. They were a blast.
They were. I don't know why they sold that event, and then whoever bought them really screwed it all up. So,
yeah, it was a great vibe of people. It was a fun, growing industry. We're at cutting edge. Parties were awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it was fun. There's nothing filled the void. I'm missing.
I know. Yeah. I mean, a lot of those bigger events are just so boring. I mean, that's why I've always stuck to, putting on smaller events just so everybody can have fun. Everyone meet each other. The big vibe, but there's no one that's filled that void. But I never want to create a big one. So tell us who you are, what you do.
Sure. I'm Scott Desgrosseilliers, founder and CEO of Wicked Reports. We do marketing attribution, specializing in e-commerce brands, 5 million to 50 million in revenue.
Awesome. I loved when you reached out. I was like, I'm so glad they're still around because you guys did such a good job on letting us know if our money's actually working or not. And today I really want to talk about, how people are using AI and how we can use AI for interpreting data. I think too many people are using AI just for, just in my last episode, we were chatting about, everyone's using AI for content creation and everything looks the same. It all looks vanilla. But, when you reached out, I was like, man, I'd love to talk about using AI to really kind of interpret the data.
I can talk about that. We spent, it took us 8 months until we released an AI analyst in the tool, because there's a lot of things that AI is very good at, but data analysis it's very confident every time, very confident and affirmative, and very wrong at first.
Yeah, and that reminds me of like ChatGPT. Every time I ask it a question, I'm like, hey, should we do this? It's like, yes, that's a great idea. I'm like, I just asked you to jump off a bridge.
I just saw a post by Dan Martell where he's like, hey, you've got to tell it to be very critical. And I was like, you know what? That's a good point.
Some of those models still aren't. I tell the model, please don't use words like fluff and use the double dash, and it still does. And I'm just like, God, you're the smartest, dumbest AI I've ever chatted with.
Oh, man. Yeah, one weird thing about it before we get all in the nitty gritty was that AI has no real concept of time. So like you put it, and time's so important in attribution. There's clicks and then there's a lag till the conversions. And then, okay, well, what does that mean? How do I mean any of it? And it just couldn't figure it out. So we had to layer in a ton of rules and coaching and then sanity checks after the fact to make sure it wasn't just make it not looking very intelligent, frankly.
So what are let's start there. What are some of the rules that you put in place that people listening can be like, oh, okay. Yeah, some people will export all their data, put it in one of the models, and then they'll just start asking it questions. And like you said, and we've been talking about, a lot of times you'll get like really bad information.
Well, yeah. So, and then I ended up creating almost a methodology that was in my brain around attribution. I had to slowly inject into the model. But the first thing is that if you load up let's just say you've got 3 campaigns, one's prospecting, one's retargeting, and one's direct response, and then one's and then one's for existing customers to rebuy. Mm-hmm. Those are 4 different intentions. And so therefore, from an attribution perspective, it means you want to measure it with a different scoreboard. It also means that your North Star from the data points is different. And the trends you want to look at, or the supporting metrics, or the leading indicators, are different based on the intention. So the first big aha moment was, we got to tell it what the intention is for each row of data, because otherwise it doesn't. It just makes stuff up.
Yeah,
Makes stuff
like
up.
that.
And so that really helped, because I was like, it's almost like four different games we're playing. If you have 4 different campaigns, any of them that are the same type of game can use the same scoreboard, but anyone doesn't, obviously you got to keep score differently each time. So that was a big aha moment. I mean, the second one was that which scoreboard is going to, assuming that it knew how to keep score in the way that was going to be most profitable. It was like, it doesn't. It latches on to ROAS every time. And that might not be the goal. It might be, if you're new customer acquisition, you want to lower new customer acquisition cost, because you load up all the data in there, and your new and repeat are blended in. And then it's like, well, I'm trying to find new customers. Says, oh, your ROAS is great. It might be like 2/3 of those are repeat customers that you actually closed an email or SMS. So that was an eye opener there.
Oh yeah. It's sometimes garbage out, but it's like, how do you figure, like, I was like, man, I felt like I really gave you good data. You know, it should be good data in, great data out. But it's, a lot of times it's like, oh, what's going on here? I know with our software that we developed, it took a lot of massaging, and a lot of the AI agents that we put out there to, tell agencies what they're worth based on a series of different things that we asked them. It's just like, man, it's like, come on, it takes some effort.
It did, because at the initial start, this was ChatGPT 3.5 when I first started, which we don't use ChatGPT now for data. It would just mention things you got to do to campaigns that didn't actually exist in the data. I don't know where it came from. Hallucinate, which it does less, because sometimes I always think there's this potential for some of the models to degrade their overall intelligence because of all the garbage in. And it's like, oh man, I get so many thumbs up from when I say spend where the ROAS is higher. I'm just going to always do that. And so, because it's learning from millions of people that don't know what they're doing necessarily when it comes to advanced attribution. So uploading all that data and not knowing a simple thing is, well, not simple, but not knowing, hey, segment new from repeat and only analyze the ones you're really going for. That already get you a mile ahead of where, 95% of the people are going to look at the data. They're not going to think to do that. And then they're going to just bang their heads against the wall. Why is it scaling? Because the AI is like, well, ROAS always seems to get me good responses, so I'm going to stick with that. When really it was new customer acquisition costs that mattered.
Let's talk about kind of your framework that most ad agencies that are doing pay-per-click are not really looking at. Can you walk us through that kind of framework?
Sure. I call it the 5 forces, and the 5 forces are intention, expectation, action, outcome, and then optimization. And so each one is specific things you do. But again, we trained it in our AI because of necessity more than anything. But intention, which I briefly touched on. So what are we trying to do here? Because that already tells us the scoreboard, tells us how long the game should be. Because like when you're doing new customer acquisition, it might be a 30 to 90 day measurement window. And if you're just doing a direct response, or it's, abandoned cart sequence, that's a 7-day or even a shorter window, because you're hoping they're going to buy right away. And there's certain different metrics that you look at or don't, different trends that matter, how long the trend you should look. Intention covers a lot of that stuff. But the big one for agencies for me is the second one, expectation, which means, are we going to have a alignment on how we're going to keep score? Because let's say you're an e-commerce agency where you got the brand owner looking at what his Shopify says, maybe going into GA4, and then also looking at what Facebook and Google tell them, which of course aren't going to add up. And then they're in the Klaviyo, which is claiming credit for everything. And then attentive using the 30-day look back on an SMS, which is bananas. So they're all saying all this great money, but then they look at their bank account, which hopefully is going up because they hired an agency, but may or may not be. And then they've got all these different versions of truth. And what happens is, then they're going to blow you up on Slack. Oh man, this Facebook campaign doesn't look like it's doing well. And it could be your top of the funnel campaign, and you're selling something expensive, and it's going to take like 45 days till anyone bears any fruit. but they're in there and saying, we're paying $1,000 a day. It's been 5 days. We don't have any sales. Turn it off because you didn't get aligned on expectations at the get-go.
Yeah.
That one just can save you a lot of time. You got to get aligned. Like, this is our scoreboard, whatever it's going to be.
Yep.
And then, hey, this campaign's going to take a long time because it's awareness top of the funnel. And then you log it in like your PowerPoint or whatever you're going to report that you covered that, because you might have to reinforce it like 3 to 5
You definitely
times.
have to reinforce that.
I've been on the other end helping support agencies back in the day when trying to, make sure they can execute a top of the funnel strategy, because that's so important.
Yeah.
So budget got to go to top of the funnel, and it takes time to convert. You get impatient brand owners, all the agency competition and people coming in trying to poach their clients. And you need to do the spend there eventually. And it's going to take time. And so we try to give them tools, and that was part of the framework, was the expectations setting, getting a fair level playing field everyone agrees to.
Hi there, agency owners. Let me ask you, are you ready to scale your agency without increasing your overhead costs? If yes, then you need to know about E2M Solutions. Now, E2M is the #1 most reliable white label partner for agencies. They specialize in web design, WordPress development, e-commerce, SEO, and content writing. They basically do all the heavy lifting, which frees you up to focus on growing your agency. Now, here's the best part. E2M's just not another vendor. With over 10 years of experience, their team of over 300 experts has a track record of delivering for more than 300 agencies. They're your strategic partner. They deliver on time every time, so you can focus on what you do best. Now, E2M's mission is simple: to help 500 agencies increase their revenue and profit margins with white label services that actually work. And to help you get started, they're offering a special deal, 10% off for the first 3 months, but act fast because it's only a limited time offer. So head over to e2msolutions.com/smartagency to check out their transparent and their flexible pricing. Trust me, if you're ready to grow without burning out, E2M's the partner you've been looking for. That's e2msolutions.com/smartagency. Go check them out and tell them Jason Swank sent you.
Cool. And what's next?
So the third one is action, where you're going to take action and launch the campaign because you've already agreed on the expectations. But also, as part of the expectations, I actually missed one piece: scale, chill, kill zone. So the idea is you're going to set a chill zone. Let's use new customer acquisition if that's your goal. You're going to set a chill zone, which is a range of acceptable values, which means I should be able to spend the same amount given our agreed upon scoreboard.
Okay.
So let's just say I'm going to measure it. And new customer acquisition costs for 30 days has to be between $50 and $70. If so, that's chill, means it's okay. Below 50 would be scale, which would be great. Above 70 mean kill if I can't fix it. So you get the score, you get the goalpost set up before you start the game. Because otherwise, when you launch the campaign, take action, when every day that number is going to be different. And so you can't have to, and then you got to react to it. Oh, it's $75. Does that mean like it's going up every day? Oh, I don't know. I got to go look. What's the trend been? Oh, wait, it's on a Saturday. Maybe that doesn't matter because it's a weekend. All this extra psychic stress and just drama. Instead, you just agree ahead of time.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to measure it. This is how we're going to go. I mean, you probably have many war stories from agencies where like overreactionary brand owners.
Yeah. And then people are just spending money to spend money, way too much money, because they really don't understand. They just go off whatever that platform tells them a lot of times. All right. So what's next? So what's an action?
So in the action, when you first run through it, action is to just launch the campaign. But then when you've already launched it and got results and then optimize in the fifth phase, you come back and then there's a decision log of all the different actions you can take, because like there's going to be like campaigns that are doing well, campaigns that are doing so-so, and within them, some ad sets are popping, some aren't. Creatives that are going good or bad. So you have all your potential decisions based on that NCAC range in this example. So you've got, okay, this campaign's in the kill zone, but do I have any actions I can take that are going to solve that problem? If so, I'm going to take them. And you sort of rank them by potential impact, because there's going to be like a data's going to tell you a ton of things you can do. You don't want to do all of it. You want to look at the top impact things.
Yeah.
Start there, then remeasure, then see if you got to keep optimizing, or you got to move on to a new idea, or you can keep doing it.
And what's the last one?
So then the last one is optimization. So we have like 200 something data points in our tool, but any tool is going to have tons of data. And so you want to break it down to, is it a creative and offer situation? Is it a traffic issue, or is it budget? Because it's usually one of those three things. Or fourth one.
You didn't mention audience. Yeah. What about audience? What about picking the wrong audience?
Yeah, picking the wrong audience would be traffic, be part of traffic.
Okay, gotcha.
Or did you target the wrong traffic? Did you buy the wrong traffic? That'd be the targeting.
Yeah, there's so many different factors. I know when we were using an agency not too long ago, they would just run so many. They would start off with different ad copy, and then they'd start messing with images, and then it was crazy. I was like, man, this is a lot of stuff.
Well, there is. And then there's also a fourth one, which is getting the right signal into the platforms. Because if you're not signaling it to reward it, to tell it's doing a good job in the right way, then all the efforts are going to go for naught.
Yeah. And I see, especially Meta with our ads that we're running just on remarketing, it keeps claiming stuff that it hasn't done.
Yeah, that's how we first had a business, was for that. But also, it's really good at claiming credit. I mean, you get a sale, and arguably 4 to 5 systems will claim credit between your ad platforms and your email and your SMS. You're looking at least 4 places that want to claim credit minimum. So sorting that out is one thing, but then also trying not to have it then continue to want to try to get conversions. The ones that you don't want to claim credit for, it'll pivot and start claiming more and more of those, because it's trying to get fast, quick conversions. And when it sees those happening, it'll keep trying to get you those.
So how do people train the system to not take credit and really kind of show what's actively working?
So within Meta, there's a lot you can do with the events manager. You can create events for new customer sales versus repeat. And then when you're creating a new ad set, if it's related to either a new customer or wanting a repeat, which would depend on your targeting, you can have the ad set optimized for this specific event rather than just all sales. You can pick it in there on what is the objective.
Okay.
And so what that'll do is then, like, when it first starts out, if Andromeda is suddenly closing a bunch of people that are already rebuying on your email, or already existing customers, you don't send that signal to them for that particular campaign. So it doesn't know the sale happened. But then when a new customer happens, they get that notice and they, oh, okay, I did a good job. And it starts to figure it out. And you can even get more advanced and do events per new customers of specific type of SKUs. That helps you if you're going to launch let's just say you have 50 products and you don't want to throw them all up. Maybe there's just a product family you want to focus on. You can create creative around that, and then just have signals to Meta for that campaign around, like, I don't know, whatever your particular product category is, when there's a new customer. And then Meta sometimes you can get dramatic drops in new customer acquisition costs within like a month. It's not foolproof. You still need good creative, and the product the offer has to be good. But if those table stakes are met, that the missing piece is sometimes just the signal Meta needed had to be sharpened.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just data. That's what it's trying to do. I mean, it's amazing. Like when I'll go on Instagram and, one day I'll be like, I want to look for drones, and all I see is drones. And then the next day I see snowboarding, and then all I see is that. So it's really pretty scary about what it knows about us.
It is. I mean, Australia just banned social media until you're 16.
I know. I like that.
I love it. My kids were like horrified. And I was like, we may move. I mean, we're not, but
that's a long way down.
Yeah. I've been once. It was great, but I don't know.
If people want to know a little bit more about Wicked Reports, where can they go and check you guys out? Sure.
wickedreports.com would be the best spot. And also for the methodology around training the AI we talked to, I have 5forces.com, can get you more about that.
Perfect. Wicked Reports is really pretty cool. So I think you all should check it out. It will give you the data that you need in order to make informed decisions for your clients. So make sure you go there now, check it out. And if you guys like this episode, make sure you like, subscribe. And until next time, have a swank day.